And welcome back, everyone, to the box office report today on the 4th of May, 2025. And I think I got the box office right. I actually can't remember what my prediction. I know I predicted Thunderbolts and Sinners at number 2. I'm not sure about the other 3. I think I had Minecraft at number 3 too. It's the positioning of the other 2 I might be a little wrong about. But regardless, Thunderbolts debuts with around $76 million. $76 million. Didn't have dyslexia until I started working at a retail shop. I always joke about that with customers, but kind of true. $76 million opening. Sinners takes another fantastic drop. $33 million, dropping 27.8%. A Minecraft movie makes another $13.7 million, 39.7% drop. The Accountant 2 takes a 61.4% drop. Oof. $9.4 million, and Until Dawn makes another $3.8 million, taking a 52.5% drop, rounding out the top 5. Obviously, the big guy this week is the Thunderbolts. Now, worldwide, it stands at $162 million. So, first off, is the movie good? You've seen my review for it. This movie's great. This is a fantastic. I go so far as to say it's a fantastic movie. It is funny. It is heartfelt. The emotion is there. It knows when to take itself serious. It's handling a subject matter that is not easy to tackle and tackle well. I kind of not joked about, but I kind of brought up in the review that of the movies that have dealt with depression this year, like Woman in the Yard, this movie handles that subject matter far more tastefully and far more effectively than that movie did. And it's still got that MCU flavor to it. I got something in my ass, right? It's going back to the MCU we really enjoy. Absolutely. So with that said, is this a good number to start with? With a movie that's made, roughly speaking, from what I could find, on about $180 million, with about $100 in marketing, you're looking at a film that needs to hit right around Captain America's numbers, right around 420, roughly speaking, to break even. That's what we need out of this movie. So, is this a good number? Yes, actually. Now, why is it a good number? Like any bigger number would have been good. Now, first off, I have to eat crow. I thought it would actually overperform the estimates, which were between around 75 to 85 million. So this came in on the low end of the projections. But $76 million, a lot of films would kill for an opening like that. A lot would. On a $180 million budget, that might be a little low, but keep in mind, I think Disney and Marvel were both, what's the best way to put it? We're both not expecting this film to be making $120, $150 million. Because right now, the Marvel brand is a little damaged. It is a little damaged right now. And when you have a group of B-listers coming off of Captain America Brave New World, which was not the best movie in the world, which hurts the momentum, with a lot of hit and miss that's been coming out this through phases 4 through 5. When you got that going on, then yeah, I mean, you got to expect it's probably not going to be doing the same type of Marvel numbers that, say, Deadpool, Wolverine, or even like Captain America Civil War, or Doctor Strange 2, or Thor. Like, he wasn't going to do 100 million plus, more than likely. I had hoped maybe it would overperform, but it didn't, and that's fine. See, what's going to save this film isn't going to be the opening weekend. That's where you start. What's going to help this film out, though, is the word of mouth and the quality of the film. Because the film is good. It's damn good. It's got, I think, 89% for, let's get the Rotten Tomatoes real quick. 89% for the Rotten Tomatoes last I checked, but like a 95% from the audience. This is first off, it's a great film. It's more importantly a rewatchable film. Because the good Marvel films, yeah, they had big opening weekends, absolutely. But what really brought 88 to 94 now. So it went down 1%. Oh no. But 94% of the audience like it, at minimum like it. And that's what helps out any big blockbuster. It's not that opening weekend. That's where you start, and the higher you start, the better, sure. It's the It's how rewatchable the repeat viewings you get. And Thunderbolts, I think, is going to have a really good second weekend. It's not going to have that 70% some odd drop that Captain America took. No, we're looking at probably at the mid to lower 50s here. If not, maybe a little lower than that, into like the mid to high 40s, which would be fantastic. Because we have no strong competition at all coming out this week. We got that Shadow Force film coming out this week, which I might try to catch. But this might be an off week where I actually don't do a movie this week. But otherwise, like, even then, there's no way that is hurting this in any way, shape, or form. Now, someone did say Sinners is going to eat into the Thunderbolts box office. And I will say this, with a $33 million third weekend, dropping only 27%, look, did it completely hobble Thunderbolts? No, it did not completely hobble Thunderbolts. But the term, did it eat into it a little bit? Like, did it maybe rob them of an extra $10 million for the opening weekend? Maybe? And then, let's be fair, too. I mean, one of the reasons this film didn't open as strong as some of the other Marvel films is there are people who are a little soured on Marvel at the moment. They need to be won back. There's plenty of us, like, for example, $76 million worth of us, who are going to see this movie no matter what, but and who are still have faith in Marvel. But you got to be able to win the people you lost back, not continue to bring the people that are coming to the movie back. So, yeah, overall, though, this is nowhere near a bad number. We'll get a really good idea of where the Thunderbolts is, or just Thunderbolts, is going to end up next week when we see its drop off. Which, again, to be fair, Captain America also didn't have anything opening up the second week, and it still dropped like 60 some odd percent. But the movie wasn't anywhere near as good. So with Thunderbolts here, you actually have a damn good movie. People are actually really excited about it, saying damn good positive things about it. So I think we're going to have a much better second weekend drop this following weekend than the next. And honestly, if we're even looking into, say, the next couple weeks, I think the one movie we have coming up after this for like an actual movie coming out, because this is what we got coming out next week: Juliet and Romeo, Clown on the Cornfield, Golden, Fight or Flight, none of which are going to be, despite saying wide, are going to be anything major. Shadow Force is probably not even making double digits next week. So then you got to look towards what, the 16th? Hurry Up Tomorrow, The Ruse, and Final Destination Bloodlines. I'll be honest, Thunderbolts isn't really going to be threatened by Final Destination Bloodlines. It's going to take a little bit away because it'll be in its third week at that point. But honestly, that's not something that Thunderbolts needs to be concerned about. It's then the following week that you're going to, the week of the 23rd, I want to say. If I got that right. Yeah, the 23rd. Let me just get that up. The week of the 23rd, that's the week that finally it's going to lose a lot of momentum, due to the fact that that week is going to be Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch. So, yeah, that's where the giant wall comes down on the momentum. Not to say it still won't make some money, it will, but it's got 2 weeks to really clean up house before the big boys come to play. And then the 30th, Memorial Day weekend, you have Karate Kid Legends coming out. So, yeah, no, it'll be fine, I think. I do think it'll be making it. It's already at $162 million, so it's already got a good leg up. And let's be clear, too, we're not even factoring the international numbers in, because this film doesn't really deal with magic or anything like that. Though I don't know, because of the whole tariff issue, if China's going to allow this film or not. That's actually a really good question. What are the international releases at the moment? They're not giving us the international numbers right now. Okay, I'm fine. Be that way, man. Be that way. But no. Let's see here. There we go. Title summary. All releases. Domestic. I'd prefer original release. All territories. Nope, just giving us domestic right now for that, so we don't know where that international is coming from. Whatever, it's fine. Anywho, so yeah, it's a good weekend for Thunderbolts. Could it have been better? Absolutely. Am I concerned for it? No, I'm not concerned for it right now. Let's see what next week looks like before we start to be concerned for it. Then we got Sinners making her $33 million, dropping only 27.8%. I mean, This is the kind of run most films would dream about. Now, keep in mind, it's the kind of run most films would dream about on a film that's not going to be making like $1 billion. But as it stands, $236 million against a $90 million budget. And from what I've found, it's only got $50 million in marketing, which is impressive. Which means this film is now profitable. At $236 million, this film now has made money and it's going to continue to make money. Now, this is also one of those films that's doing far better here than it is internationally. And maybe that's the subject matter of, vampires, which don't always translate well unless you're like Twilight or whatever, existing source material. But also the fact that it's a very American movie. And a lot of very American movies don't usually translate well in some more international markets. But I'm just speculating here. The fact it's R-rated too means that you're going to limit the audience to some degree. Either way, though, it's profitable at this point, so good for it. But yeah, again, the question is why? What is the secret sauce here that has allowed this film to become as profitable and as successful as it's becoming so far? And I think it comes down to A, quality of the film, B, the lack of quality of films we really had this year. I mean, we've had some good films, but we've also had a lot of stinkers too. So, particularly on the horror side of things, also. So when you get Michael B. Jordan, who's probably also still somewhat of a box office draw, someone said that Denzel Washington and Sandra Bullock were also box office draws when I asked the question last week. I could see the argument for Denzel, just in the sense that this movie's going to make more because you put Denzel in than if you didn't. I don't see it for Sandra Bullock, because Sandra Bullock has never been a huge box office star. She's always been successful. She's got a lot of good movies. A lot of her movies have made money, but I don't see that argument working for her. But yeah, I mean, again, you get a good film, and you shoot it in a way that resonates. Also, you get a lot of, weirdly enough, relatable content in this film too, where you're dealing with like race relations in the South. You're dealing with loyalty to family. And then obviously you're also getting the party atmosphere. It's a sexy film. It is a horny film too. It's funny. The film's so horny it sticks its tongue in someone's ear twice. What's the better way to put it? If I had a nickel for every time this movie had someone sticking their tongue in someone's ear, I'd have 2 cents. I'd have 10 cents, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Like, see, I have this weird fascination with ear licking. It's an adult film, but it just has an aura about it that is very attractive and seductive in many ways, much like the vampires themselves. So, yeah, I mean, and you know what? I said it in my review, I'll say it again. It's a good film when it's a good film before the vampires even show up, before the gimmick ever shows up. They made a good film then. That's exactly what happened here. So Sinners is just having a great run. Great run. A Minecraft movie made our $13.7 million. Currently stands worldwide right now at $873.4 million. I'm still going to go with what I said prior. I don't see this film hitting the $1 billion club. It's still got another 127 to go. And domestically, it's just not going to be able to bring that in. It's probably making single digits next week. Or at the very minimum, it's going to take such a low enough drop that it only makes like 10 million next week, which would still be impressive. But I don't see it at the moment. Like, there's just not enough. I don't think there's enough gas in the tank left, particularly because it's going to start to run in. Every week's going to be less and less it's making. And if it's still around by the time I get the Lilo and Stitch, you then get Lilo and Stitch, which is the next big zeitgeist, because most people know Lilo and Stitch, and B, family film. And that's going to take a huge bite out of this thing. It's going to sweep whatever momentum is left in it right out from under it. So, yeah, I just don't see it making $1 billion. I'm not saying it's impossible still, but it's in its, I think, fifth week here. Fifth or fourth week, I want to say. Which week are we on here for this film? Oh, whoopsie, went a little too far there. Let's see. Which week are we on for Minecraft? We're on its fifth week. It's not over 900 yet. I'm gonna say this: if it does manage to hit $1 billion, it's gonna do it by the skin of its teeth. I just don't see it having enough left, but maybe I'm wrong on that. The Accountant 2 made her $9.4 million in its second week. It dropped 61%, which sucks. That really sucks. It's made on $90 million. This film isn't going to be making its money back, sadly, at this rate, unless there's a huge international push, which I don't see happening. I think it comes down to the fact that it is a 2-hour and 12-minute film, which wouldn't matter if it was paced maybe a little better, but I think a little bit of the pacing hurts this film. It's also a sequel to a film that that didn't make a lot of money, just made some money. It's got good reviews, but you've also just got bigger fish now out there. You got Thunderbolts out there. In a few weeks, you're going to have Final Destination, and you're going to have Mission Impossible. I think they picked the wrong time of year for this film. Not to say it would have, on a $90 million budget, it probably would have made its money back anyway. But honestly, no joke, you probably would have been better off January or February with this film because the competition was a lot lighter. This was still a known IP, similar to kind of Den of Thieves, which this is going to end up making at least more than Den of Thieves did. But, I mean, maybe that's partly why they didn't do it, because those two were kind of directly competing, Den of Thieves and Accountant 2, or at least tonally they were kind of similar. But, I don't know, because February might have worked better, because apart from Paddington 3 and Captain America, there really was no solid movie coming out that month. Love Hurts just came and went, so it's not like that would have hurt this film at all. So honestly, February might have been the best time to put this out, not the week before a major Marvel movie. A major Marvel movie that was getting good press. Of course, it wasn't getting good press when they put the date, but you get my point. Like, it's just, now you might be saying, well, it would have been next to another Marvel movie. Yeah, but it would have been coming out after it. And so it really wouldn't. And plus, March didn't start off that strong either this year. We didn't get even a mildly heavy hitter until Novocaine, and that wasn't even a heavy hitter, or Mickey 17, and neither of those were heavy hitters. Those are just higher profile. The only real heavy hitter in March was, I believe, Minecraft came out in March, right? Was it March or beginning of April? Actually, I want to say it was beginning of April. Yeah, April. Sorry, but apart from that, what? Snow White, Working Man did okay, but not like gangbuster numbers. So yeah, you probably could have got it like between March and February, and like maybe late February into March, and that would have probably been a much better time to put this movie out. It sucks because I really enjoyed the movie a lot. Still think the first one's a little better, but I really enjoyed the movie a lot. So that's unfortunate. Until Dawn is actually not doing too bad. With a $15 million budget, this film probably has to hit, roughly speaking, about 35. So basically, it means it's made on 35. That means you're looking at a film that doesn't even have to hit 60 to break even. Now, it's in the second week, which that's good for the numbers there, but it didn't even make double digits on its opening week, and it dropped almost as bad as The Accountant did with 62, well, not almost, but still dropped 52.5%. I mean, that'd be a good number and a higher opening. Like, if it opened to The Accountant's some odd million, like 20 some odd $20 million, that'd actually be a damn good opening for a film made on $15 million. And I hope to see maybe Thunderbolts take a drop like 52.5 million or less next week. But it's still not good. It's still not good when you're small, but when you can't even open to your low budgeted amount, that's a problem. It shows the lack of interest people ultimately had in the film. This film probably is not going to end up doing very well unless the international really pulls through for it, which I don't think it will. This film is not going to end up. And I had a good time with the film, by the way. I don't think it's amazing, but it was a fun film. So it's kind of sucks when fun horror just isn't rewarded. Because this has been a really, really tough year for horror so far. Wolfman did not do well. Companion's not a horror film, it's more of a thriller, but I'd lump it in there. Companion didn't do well. The Monkey did actually make some money. The Monkey, but The Woman in the Yard didn't do well. Drop, more of a thriller than horror, didn't do well. And half of everything I just said aren't bad films. But for whatever reason, horror is just kind of, people aren't interested in either the topic or the genre at this point, or in time. So, yeah, it is what it is. The Amateur, $1.8 million. It's just trudging along there. It's not going to make its money back. Because it needs to make, it's on a $60 million budget. It didn't have a big marketing budget, so probably more like $30 million. So you're looking at a film that really only has to hit, so that's made roughly on $90 million. So it needs to make about 140 to break even, and it can't even do that. Ugh. Rough year for movies. I mean, some movies like Minecraft hit it right out of the park. And some movies like Sinners are also making money. But a lot of the more bigger budget, high profiler films are just not doing great right now. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not the end of the world for studios. They'll be fine. The King of Kings, $1.6 million. So I know this film ultimately isn't actually doing all that bad, all things considered. It's not making its money back, but the loss it took was relatively minor because it barely had any marketing to it. But I go back to what someone said in their prediction that King of Kings was projected for like Sound of Freedom numbers. Now, maybe they meant for opening weekend, which was the case, actually. It wasn't, in fact, I think it did a little less than Sound of Freedom, if I remember correctly. But still, it was right in there. But if they were implying that they was going to do the kind of numbers that Sound of Freedom did, which Sound of Freedom was an anomaly, to say the least, made over $200 million, I could already tell you this was not the case. It's an animated film, which you would think would work in its favor, but the animation quality was okay at best. It was not. It looked something like something you'd just watch for free on streaming or TV. That's what it looked like. So that was a problem right at the gate. Niche story about Jesus, where literally the story of Jesus was the basis of the movie. So that was going to hurt it because unlike something like Sound of Freedom, where religion is a focal point, it's not the focus is the guy who is of faith, but isn't like, okay, I'm going to bless you as I'm saving you. No, that wasn't quite the same scenario here. And then you're also just going to have bigger competition now with this, unlike with Sound of Freedom. So yeah, this was not going to be a Sound of Freedom scenario, unfortunately. Then you got Warfare, which is currently made $28 million. It's still trudging along like a good soldier, but it lost 590 screens this week, so not necessarily the best circumstances. It was made on about 20 million, so it's not making its money back, unfortunately. But it could have been a lot worse. Everything else though is very minor. You got Hit, which I'm guessing is the third case. No idea what that is. A little unknown title. All I know about this unknown title is it is made $685,000. The Surfer with Nicolas Cage made $674,000, a little over. Legend of Ochi came and went like a fart in the wind. Is not even made $3 million. Very sad. I meant to see it, but there was no showing I could get to. Snow White, I believe, is actually over $200 million. Yeah, it made over $200 million. Congrats, you almost made your budget. Now, granted, the theaters take roughly a third, so no, but Captain America: Brave New World actually went up. They gave it 55 extra screens, and it went up by 496%. Huh. I wonder if it's because the Thunderbolts came out. They wanted to see if want to do some double features. But hey, look, I mean, what would have happened if they had given another 200 screens or something like that? It wouldn't have made $1 million, but apparently went up 400. What was it the previous week? That's a very good question. One second here. Yeah. Domestic. Oh, here we go. Weekend, domestic weekend. So yeah, it was at 26% with those 50, and then it went up nearly 500%. Huh. That's interesting. I legitimately wonder why. Huh. Again, the only thing I can think of is because Thunderbolts came out. That probably played a factor. Which, by the way, we can actually now take a look at just how big a drop Captain America took. 68.3%. That was, which is weird because most of the other drops are nowhere near that egregious. The next drop was only 47.3, then 43.5, then 32.1. So what happened? I mean, yeah, it was a holiday weekend, sure. But what happened between February, and especially in a week where there was no competition, what happened in its second week where it took that big a drop versus the other weeks? I'm still not sure what happened in that scenario. I'm really not. I'm actually quite confused. But either way, I do not see that happening for Thunderbolts. I do actually see the Thunderbolts taking a very solid drop next week, just because it's a better movie and people are just more ranting and raving about it than they did with Captain America. So with that being said, what are my predictions for next week? Well, I think we might be just seeing a near perfect, identical matchup to this. Thunderbolts will be number 1 next week. That's a given. Sinners will be number 2. I think that's a given. I do think Minecraft will still be number 3. I will at least say Shadow Force, saying I have at least seen trailers for Shadow Force, will be number 4, but I don't even see that making double digits, to be fair. And then I think The Accountant will be number 5. We'll wait and see what it looks like, but until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.